Chapter 7. Being the so-called new minority was supposed to be a compliment, but Ileana Martinez understood its true meaning. It was just another way of saying she was outnumbered in this country. She thought the phrase was inflammatory and used to pit blacks against Latinos. She enjoyed competition, but not the kind that tried to manipulate one race of people by telling them they were being replaced by another in the workplace and in society. Such resentment created fear, jealousy, and anxiety. There was always that additional pressure to outdo one another at any cost. Ileana Martinez only competed in the surgical world. She fought to be the best in medicine where it truly counted, where having the most qualified surgeon performing an operation offered the best outcome, the best prognosis for a patient. She had no liking for politics, not here in America and not in her native country of Mexico. She thought all governments were corrupt. They made a business out of exploiting the poor and less fortunate. The top 10% of the world succeeded off of everyone else. She knew the field of medicine was also political. She had received her medical degree in Mexico and was a practicing doctor there for several years until she decided to move to North America, where none of that mattered. Her credentials seemed even laughable in the eyes of the U.S. hospitals she applied to. Dr. Ileana Martinez was screened, politely given advice at each interview. The message was always uttered in a well-meaning voice, but the words never changed. Either go to a medical school in this country or move back to Mexico. She resented the advice, but took it. When Ileana moved to the States, she had to start all over. She reapplied to medical school and once again began to compete with students. But this time, they were half her age, young men and women in their 20s. Ileana also had to complete another residency program before she even could consider studying the subspecialty of her choice, which was what had drawn her to this country in the first place. But the Mexican surgeon submitted herself completely and humbled herself religiously in order to be trained in pulmonary medicine. The lungs fascinated her. Their ability to breathe life into the body and nurture each of its living cells with oxygen awed her. She pictured the oxygen exchange which occurred in the lungs. She saw the continuous movement of erythrocytes, red blood cells with their donut shape and concave center transporting molecules of oxygen throughout the body. Ileana sacrificed everything she cared about. She did so for a higher cause, for a love of medicine that seemed to be genetically encoded onto her DNA. She left her husband in Mexico while she chased a dream. She subjected him to 7 years of hell. No man wanted a long-distance marriage or a wife who was only available during holidays and school breaks. They had argued, fought, filed for divorce, but her Jorge kept their wedding vows. He never left her. He stayed faithful, committed, and for that, he controlled her heart. He was guaranteed her love, and he could possess her body. Ileana knew Jorge was at home. She ran up the marble steps that marked the entrance to their house.